KSTP Sports presents Gopher Football 86 with the head coach of the University of Minnesota, John Gutekunst. Today's show is brought to you by Isuzu Quality Cars and Trucks. Isuzu, the first car builders of Japan. By Midwest Federal, your good tree to come to for shelter since 1891. By Champion Auto Stores, for the right products, right prices, and right answers. Shop Champion Auto Stores now. And by your Twin Cities Ford dealers. Now, here is the host of Gopher Football 86, Joe Schmit.
The trophy case has taken on a new look at the University of Minnesota. 2 weeks ago, Paul Bunyan's Axe stayed on our side of the border with a 27-20 win over Wisconsin. Then last Saturday, the Little Brown Jug came home after a miraculous 20-17 win at Michigan. The most recognizable traveling trophy in all of college football is on campus for the first time since 1977. And that's all that's missing from this picture right now is Floyd of Rosedale. This little piggy is keeping a spot warm for Floyd and the Gophers. They'll try to bring home the real McCoy at the Dome tonight against Iowa. Speaking of the real McCoy, here is the Little Brown Jug. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Gopher Football 86. I'm Joe Schmit, along with John Gutekunst. In our audience today, a group of the football team from Roosevelt High School will have their questions in a bit. But first, Coach, congratulations to your players, your coaching staff, and everybody involved in Gopher football because it was an outstanding victory at Michigan.
Well, anytime you get a chance to beat Michigan, you do it at Ann Arbor, and they're number 2 in the country, and they're undefeated, having a chance to play for a national championship. It's a tribute to the people that you mentioned, and especially the seniors of this football team who have hung together, and at times when people thought maybe this season was going to fall on its face, pulled one off.
All right, we're going to show all the highlights of that Michigan game in just a few minutes, but first of all, we're going to whet your appetite by taking you back to the last play of the game. Closing seconds, one of the great upsets in the history of the University of Minnesota. Chip Lohmiller put the Gophers over the top with this 30-yard field goal as time ran out. Pandemonium for the maroon and gold when the Gophers left Michigan Stadium. They also left with the Little Brown Jug. Coach, your reaction when that ball went through the uprights?
Well, it's now time to take on Iowa. I was elated for especially the seniors on that football team. A number of them played an excellent football game that particular day, and it was just my greatest moment in college football.
It was an outstanding moment. You know, a lot of talk about the Bulls this week. Of course, the Gophers will officially get their invitation today to play in Memphis on December 29th in the Liberty Bowl. But right now, I know you'd like to keep the focus on the University of Iowa.
Well, very much so, and I think our players do too, because every week in college football there's an upset. But if you do it 2 weeks in a row, maybe it's not quite as big an upset.
All right, if the Gophers win tonight, they will win all 3 traveling trophies for the first time since 1967. But to do that, you can't take anything for granted because, as we mentioned, Iowa is an awfully good football team. And let's take a look at Iowa as they faced Purdue last week.
This is their number 2 quarterback, Tom Paholski, throwing a screen pass to a young man from Hugo, Minnesota, named Rick Bayless. Quite a story, a walk-on at Iowa. He's number 2 in the conference in rushing. He's one of their leading pass catchers. Started on most of their special teams, and now when they needed a tailback, all of a sudden here he is. Now they try the little flea flicker that we threw against Indiana, and here they hit it to their second-team receiver, Travis Watkins. Running the option for the score, that's Kevin Harmon. That's the outstanding brother of Ronnie Harmon, who's now in the professional football. Their defense, which leads the conference in rushing and is in the top 5 in the country in national rushing defense, and of course we're a running football team. If we probably hadn't won the game against Michigan, Iowa would probably be a 20-some point favorite when you look at all their stats and everything like that. But I think now coming into the Metrodome, it'll be a lot closer spread according to the prognosticators.
All right, when we come back, we're going to go back to Ann Arbor and take a nice long look at that victory over Michigan. Stay with us on Gopher Football 86. Welcome back to Gopher Football 86. Coach, a week ago you said the Welcome back to Gopher Football 86. Coach, a week ago you said the formula for beating Michigan was TKO. You had to have the edge in turnovers, you had to have the edge in kicking, and you had to out-hit the Wolverines. Well, you did all that, and you delivered the knockout punch down at Ann Arbor.
Well, it was, you know, a fine football game, and I don't know if we out-hit them, but we did get the edge in turnovers because they're an aggressive football team. Well-played football game, and, you know, our kids hung in there, and I just can't say enough about them.
Do you mind if we look at the highlights?
No, let's look at them.
All right, let's take a look at the first half highlights, and the Gophers started off very good in this game. Right from where?
Yeah, we moved the ball. We had this was Ricky on the rollout pass, finds Jason Bruce in the seam, and that was a 23-yard gain, and Jason's from Burnsville, Minnesota, and has really come on strong at the flanker spot. Kevin Wilson had an outstanding game at fullback, averaged over 6 yards a carry and softened the middle of the Michigan defense, which was leading the conference in rushing defense before they played us. Of course, they have the outstanding quarterback, second in the country in passing proficiency, and here he hits Ken Higgins. They're wide out for 35 yards down the boundary. We finally got them held, and they missed a 50-yard field goal. It was a good try as far as length, but it was off to the left. We come back, they have the ball again, and their fine tailback. That's John Leverins, who saw a lot of action, was involved in 15 hits, 7 unassisted and 8 assisted tackles. And then you're going to see, here's Larry Joyner chasing from behind, stripping Jim Harbaugh the ball. Dwayne Dutrell recovers it with help from Donald Pollard, and we get a chance for a turnover. Brent Herbold did an outstanding job punting. And here they make their first mistake. This was not forced by us, but there was a fumbled punt. Carlos McGee did the wise thing, pushed their return man out of the way, and Dwayne Dutrell, or Terry Stewart got the recovery. Ricky comes back. Great block by Darrell Thompson, great throw to Mel Anderson and catch, and Darrell picked up a blitz up the middle, and we got a 7-0 lead. Michigan, although, comes back, and here we happen to get good coverage, and Steve Rodas chases Harbaugh for a 15-yard loss. But they come back and convert on a little swing over the middle to Morris. He cuts back, and we miss some tackles here. We leave our feet. They get a block, and he picks up the first down for 24 yards, tackled by Matt Martinez. Again, John Leverins stops him on the option play. Fine hit for 2-yard loss. We now hold them to a field goal. Gillette, their fine kicker, hits a 35-yarder, and it's now 7-3. And then here we give them a chance to come back. They're kicking off into the wind. They've done this 3 times, and they pooch it up in the air, and here this one takes the right bounce. I was really upset and replaced the 2 young men that were on that side. And when we looked at the films, we saw they both made aggressive decisions, and one went for the ball and just couldn't quite get there. They score a touchdown, and they close the half with a 10-7 lead.
Michigan did have that go-ahead touchdown. It was a big play, but the Gophers did come out in the second half, played aggressive football, and like you said, they started off with a turnover. Let's take a look at some of the action in the second half.
Okay, we come back, and like I said, we finally played 60 complete minutes, and good coverage again, and Matt Martinez playing zone, reading the eyes of the quarterback, gets the interception. Eddie Penn, you're going to see take a pitch from Rick and changes the ball and protects it and stiff arms the defender and gets us 12 yards. Ricky's going to run the option again, gets a great block by the halfback Eddie Penn, and now gets 15 yards. You see Eddie and Darrell Thompson do a fine job blocking as well as running. Off the option again, Ricky keeps it, splits the defenders outside. You'll see a block by Mel Anderson push their defender into the end zone, and that's the worst dance I think I've seen in the end zone this year. Larry Joyner now strips Morris, and we get another fumble. Anthony Burke contributed there. Carlos McGee recovered, and there's that man Kevin Wilson behind a great block, getting 9 yards, and Chip Lohmiller adds a 25-yard field goal, and we're now up 17-10.
Steady as ever, Chip.
Yeah, Craig Otto had an excellent game also. You know, see, that's Larry Joyner hitting the quarterback. They get a bad pitch. Mark Dusbabic chases him. We get him hemmed up. Little clip on Steve Franklin, but we get a 13-yard loss. Ricky comes back, finds Jason Bruce. That's the same play earlier in the first half, but going the opposite way for 26 yards. That was a 3rd and 16 play. We come back, and they finally move the ball down the field. There's a great catch by McMurtry between Donovan Small and Carlos McGee. We get them stopped for a loss of 3, and in their final touchdown drive, you're going to see the touchdown that ties it, and that's a heck of a hit there by Donovan Small. Questionable from that angle whether the ball was in, but they had to convert 2 fourth-down plays. We're now going against the wind, and this is a 3rd down play where Darrell Thompson hits the draw for 14, We now have a 3rd and 5, and we again go to Darrell, and he breaks 3 tackles on that, gets 5 yards. Maurice Wilson, 300 pounds of him, just really blocking to get that first down. And now you're going to see we're finally going to throw it because we're close to midfield, and Ricky takes off running, cuts back, and you can see he's got it. There's Mel Anderson. What a wise block that was. You saw he couldn't make a full one, but he did bump the man, which gave us another 10 yards, which enabled Chip Lohmiller here to hit the winning kick from a shorter distance.
And then the fun started out in the field.
Well, it sure did. A number of people going for that little brown jug, and I'm just tremendously proud of the players for getting it back for Minnesota.
After Michigan scored that tying touchdown, you had the ball. Did you decide right away that you wanted to play for the win, or would you settle for the tie?
Well, when it was 17-10, I went down and talked with Ricky and Alan Holt, the backup quarterback. We talked about what we wanted to do as far as our favorite patterns and things if we had to come back and win the game. When we got the ball and we were going into the wind, with the time that was left, we made a decision that we were going to pick up first downs. And if we got close to midfield, then we were going to open and try to strike for the field goal. But we didn't want to stop the clock early, have to punt the ball into the wind, because our kicker was hitting 65-yard field goals with the wind before the game. We figured theirs could hit 60. And so the key thing was the first 2 first downs.
And the strategy seemed to work very well. Our unsung player of the week in that win over Michigan was also the Midwest Defensive Player of the Week, and I'm talking about Larry Joyner. He isn't supposed to be big enough to play linebacker, but number 20 is a big play man for the Gophers. A week ago, he was in on 11 tackles, and 2 of those hits by Joyner's led to turnovers by Michigan. He really played an inspired football game, Coach.
Oh, he really did. That's 2 weeks in a row. Larry Joyner has just played tremendous football. Chases the ball over the field, and very disciplined, plays his position, and then gives second effort to his teammates. And like I always call Larry, ready, fire, aim, and he's been right on target the last 2 weeks.
He does like to play the football game. When we come back, we're going to take a closer look at that touchdown run by Ricky Foggy. We're going to meet the man who inspired the Gophers with a pregame speech, and we'll have some questions from our studio audience. That's all coming up next on Gopher Football 86. Stay tuned. Joe Schmit back again on Gopher Football 86. The run that we'll probably remember the most in the win over Michigan was that run late in the 4th quarter by Ricky Foggy that set up the game-winning field goal. But Ricky also had another fine run in the second half against the Wolverines, and this was a dandy. As the keeper, Ricky went right in between 2 defenders into the end zone to give the Gophers the lead, 14-10, and Coach is going to show us how that play worked on the diagram right now. Good effort by Ricky.
Oh, great effort. We're running our triple option. And you're going to see immediately that the Michigan tackle is going to close on our fullback. And that collision is what Ricky reads. And when he sees the tackle close, he is now going to bring the option out and continue it in what we call press in the corner here. And he'll press the Michigan defenders for the keep or the pitch. And as he strings them out in the corner of the screen, you're going to see the great block by Mel Anderson right here, down at the bottom on the Michigan defender, which allows Ricky to get into the end zone, and that's a critical touchdown for us.
Awful big play for the Gophers. There were a lot of great hits in this game against Michigan, but our hit of the week wasn't turned in until after the game. Our hit of the week this week goes to offensive line coach Jim Huber. Now, after Chip Lohmiller kicked the game winner, take a look at Huber. He's the big guy. He'll be running across the field, and he bowls into Butch Nash, the guy with the stocking cap on. Coach Nash, the guy who gave the great speech, take another look at it. It was just a great effort there by both of your coaches, the hit of the week.
Well, you can see how important getting the little brown jug back was, and Coach Nash, of course, did a tremendous job and always does in his 35 years with the Golden Gophers.
It was a big win, and of course, Coach Nash was very happy. Things would get better for Butch Nash after the game because the players thought so much of the speech he gave Friday night before the game that they carried him off the field. Butch talked about the Gophers' win in 1977 over Michigan, and he talked about the little brown jug and what it meant to him. The players did remember that speech after the game.
It was a great feeling. It's especially even this victory probably was even more significant than the one at here because we beat them right down there. And there aren't many teams go into Ann Arbor and beat Michigan. So it was a great feeling, and I was real happy for the kids. And I'm really kind of embarrassed by all the hoopla about me, what I did. My job was very minimal. The kids won the football game. You don't win it by mere words.
Coach, it's been said before, but Butch Natch, he bleeds maroon and gold.
He really does. He's just lifts our spirits every day, and if my boys are fortunate enough to play this great game of football, I hope they're coached by someone like Butch Natch.
All right. We got a fine crew here from Roosevelt High School who had a very fine year in the football field. First of all, your name and question.
Chris Slayton. Coach Gutekunst, I was wondering, because you're head coach, do you get to, are you as much a coach, or are you more of an administrator, like,
Jerry Burns, maybe? Jerry Burns.
Jerry Burns.
I understand how you got
yeah.
that black eye now. Now, well, yes, because you don't coach a position, I miss some of that a great deal. But there's other things I have to do, and there are administrative duties. But no, I'm still a coach, and I'm still very active on the football field and the practice field itself.
All right. This guy doesn't have a black eye, but we'll ask him anyway.
Name is Scott Malone. I
Yes,
was wondering,
Scott.
what do you look for in a potential recruit academically?
Well, academically, of course, we look for performance, and there's a lot of standardized tests and things like that. But you can't expect someone to come through for you in critical situations and over the course of a long 11-game Big Ten schedule, unless they're willing to meet competition in other aspects of their life. So we look at people that like challenges academically, take courses, try to plan for their future, even though you should know that you're not wrong if you change your mind halfway through to go from one career to another. But challenge yourself and do the best you can, and then we'll take it from there.
All right. Next question.
Dana Crone, I was wondering, what's the key to beating Iowa this Saturday?
Oh, this is going to be they had 608 yards of total offense against Purdue last week, and here they are, the leading rushing defense in the top 5 in the country in rushing defense, and we're a running football team. So we've always felt that you got to win 2 of the 3 major areas, and that is kicking game, offense, and defense. And so we definitely have to win the kicking game, and then somewhere along the line we have to either stop their offense, or we have to be able to run the football like we did against Michigan and keep it out of the hands of their offense. So that'll be the key. Which one of those 2 we can do is if we can win the kicking game.
It's almost like another bowl game with 2 bowl teams playing. Your name.
Dave Thompson, and I was wondering, since the win against Michigan and the berth in a bowl game, how is that affecting your recruiting chances?
Well, recruiting, you can find 100 reasons why someone says yes, 100 why they say no. You have to work at it. It's like anything else. You just got to go out. You got to present your product, which is the University of Minnesota. We're proud of it. We think we have a lot of advantages, but it's not the school for everybody. And when we find one that we think likes the school and has the ability that we need to win the Big Ten championship, then we just continually present our product in front of them, and it's a great one, as you probably well know.
All right, next question.
Brian Espy, I was wondering, what did Butch Natch exactly say to the Gophers before the game?
Well, Butch talked to him Friday night. We showed a little highlight film of that 77 game when the Gophers shut out Michigan in Memorial Stadium. And then Butch got up and he talked about the history of the Little Brown Jug. He talked about the tradition of the Minnesota Gophers. There's not many teams that have won 6 national championships. We are one of them. And what we're trying to do is just maybe there's small steps for some people, but we're trying to take the steps and bring the program back to where we can be competitive on that level again.
All right, our thanks to the kids here from Roosevelt High School. Good questions here today. We're going to have more Gopher Football 86 for you right after this timeout. Stay with us. Welcome back to Gopher Football 86. Coach, again, it's Iowa at the Dome tonight. How do you top what you did last week in Ann Arbor tonight?
Well, we got a chance to do it at home against another quality football team, and Iowa is, the defending champion in the Big Ten. They've had an outstanding year, and I think for our players it would be very fitting to perform and beat Iowa, and then maybe people would say that last week wasn't such a big upset, that this football team is just improving.
course, you got a chance to get the pig, too, and then you would have all three for the first time since '67.
Well, when you try to get back to the glory years, you got to stress the tradition, and we're trying to do that, and this would be very important. I'd like to see all three of them trophies back in Bierman Building.
It seems one of the toughest things to do in athletics is to come back after a big win and come back and play up to that level. Are you concerned at all this team will come out a little flat against Iowa?
Well, you're always concerned about it because we are human beings, and everybody wants to win on the game day, and it's the willingness to prepare and to concentrate on the Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays. I've said that before. This team's been very good at it. We've had a good week of practice. There's been a lot of the bowl talk and all the congratulatory examples because of beating Michigan and everything, but we have some mature players, and you don't beat Michigan in Ann Arbor unless you're mature, disciplined, and those things. So I think we'll be prepared. We're going to be excited because the crowd's going to be excited, just like that group that was at the airport when we landed from Ann Arbor, and the Metrodome should be rocking.
That really was something out at the airport. That was a lot of fun being out there.
That's something our players and coaches will take with them for a long time, and we just hope we can continue to make the people of Minnesota proud of our efforts.
Health-wise, where's the team at right now?
We're banged up a little, but so is everybody this time of the year. There'll be some players that maybe won't be at full speed, but somebody's going to come in. Steve Rodas came in at nose guard, gave us a great effort against Michigan. J.J. Lennon was an offensive guard until a week ago, and he helped us at nose guard. We changed our nickel package around, put Larry Joyner back to strong safety, and he becomes Big Ten Player of the Week. So competitors come through, and I think this is going to be a great football game because Iowa has some outstanding competitors also.
You mentioned the bowl talk. How much did that disrupt things this week?
No, I don't believe at all because our goals were to become better in the Big Ten. We have a chance to win another Big Ten game, beat the defending champion, cross-border rival, and so, we're going to enjoy playing this football game. We'll be ready.
All right. Thank you for joining us today on Gopher Football 86.
Football 86 was brought to you today by your Twin Cities Ford dealers, by Midwest Federal, a good tree to come to for shelter since 1891, by Isuzu Quality Cars and Trucks, Isuzu, the first car builders of Japan, and by Champion Auto Stores, for the right products, right prices, and right answers. Shop Champion Auto Stores now.